Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to speak today. I just recently got back from a 1,700-mile journey with my family, 10 days, 4 states, 5 transportation modes, including a horse. My wife was the DJ and snack provider. I drove, and Sophia and my daughter Fiona, 5 and 3, were in the back seat. And also came along is, of course, the all-important dashboard. And we're going to come back to this dashboard. And in particular, the difference between the arrival time and the current time with a 3- and 5-year-old is really critical. So the importance of feedback visually and orally for those of you that have a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old, or once was that, the word potty rings a bell. And finding a place to go is really important. And the sound of ugh, and then ugh, really makes an impression on the driver to make a decision. Okay? So we're going to come back to this idea, maybe not so graphically. So we've used geospatial technologies. In this case, we've identified a whole river basin called the Licking River Basin to identify places where we might want to employ Riparian zone management strategies. Pretty simple overlay stuff, raster analysis. We've also used it to identify value systems for people. Green areas being highly valuable in this particular context for equine resources in central Kentucky. We've also done some stuff where we've modeled environmental sensitivity, wetlands and those sorts of things, and the likelihood of places have changed by basically going through a LISA process with community stakeholders. We've also then put these things together, made a map, identified places of conflict between development and environmental sensitivity and places of low conflict. So pretty basic stuff, really, when you get right down to it. And what's made this very easy for us in many ways is Model Builder. But this is kind of complicated to deal with for community participants. They kind of get it, but they don't. They can understand flow charts and that sort of thing. So one of the things I work with is a lot of students, beginning design students I teach in a landscape architecture program. One of the things we're always trying to get them to do is to see the landscape through different means. One of the things we've been playing with is Google Maps, just for visualizing different types of data that already exist. So in particular, I want to talk about this neighborhood design studio in the white bubble and this community assistance studio in the blue bubble there. 4th year fall and 5th year spring, respectively. We are a 5-year undergraduate program. I also teach 2 other courses, 2 GIS and landscape analysis courses and a land use planning applications course. All 3 of them electives. Not every student will take them. So in this neighborhood studio, what we're trying to do is get students in touch with what it means to design a neighborhood. Walkable neighborhoods, smart growth type neighborhoods. We're linking them up to pedometers. We're thinking about linking them up to GPS units and that sort of thing. In the 5th year studio, or that blue bubble, we're using a classic Steiner model where we go with a community and go through a design process similar to what was described this morning with TPL, but also taken from Fritz Steiner's work. And we do this in 1 semester. It's about 4 months roughly, or a little less. We go from start to finish with this community. Produce a bunch of products and involve them right from the get-go. And the whole idea of that whole final studio is to just create a series of ideas and have the community evaluate them and have them go the next step. So we're just a cog in this process. We don't come out with an ultimate plan. So what I find is difficult for students is to constantly get feedback. In a studio where you might have 20 or 30 students, getting around to the professor is difficult. So what I think we should do is look at a lot of the current tools that we have, and many of the developers are here in the room today. All of these tools are all good, but they all have limitations. And I think we need to come up with something different, a little bit different in a short time frame. So we'll go on another short journey. I think we need to create a GeoDesign performance dashboard, something that looks like this. It's integrating with SketchUp, ArcSketch, We're using a split-screen tablet format so that we can switch off these indicators, this dashboard coming back to us or to that student or that community member so that they can use the freedom of design without getting analysis if they want. This continual feedback, like I mentioned, we need to use a variety of metrics to give them feedback depending on what scale of the problem they're working at. I think going forward with Juan Carlos and the geospatial Delphi is an important way to go. And I want to do this, or I'd like to see this done, I should say, 12 to 18 months from now. This is a rapid prototype. We have places to work, ideas to work from, conservation threshold for land use planners, for Environmental Law Institute, as well as measuring landscapes. We have smart growth ideas to work from, but in particular, I think what I'm using in my classes that I find the students find very helpful in getting feedback is LEAD for neighborhood development as well as the Sustainable Sites Initiative as a way they can evaluate their designs as they're moving through. So, thank you.